Hello and welcome to Cheers. That's one woman's opinion. So I was recording the day 5 tribute for James Burrows. I started about 10 minutes ago. Some technical difficulties. I don't know what happened. Everything shut off. So I've decided to start it over again so that it's all together. And we're watching, as I said, Frasier today. And it's the pilot episode entitled The Good Son, which aired September 16th, 1993. And as always, we have to pause in music, or not pause, mute the music. Okay, so we have our title card things, and this one is called The Job. Frasier is Kelsey Grammer, played by Kelsey Grammer, of course, and he's talking about his divorce from Lilith, moving to Seattle. He's trying to help a patient named Russell on his radio psychiatrist show. We also got to see Roz Doyle, who was played by Perry Gilpin. We also see a lot of the. Oh, wait, I'm going to show James Burrows. That was directed by James Burrows. We also get to see a lot of other Cheers creators and things, David Angle, Christopher Lloyd, etc., since this was a spin-off of Cheers. Cheers ended in May of 1993, May 20th, 1993 to be exact, and this, as I said, premiered in September of 1993. He's trying to tell Russell here that he can change and whatnot. But Roz has informed him that they cut to the news 30 seconds ago. But Frasier thinks that it was a good show, despite having screwed up. He tries to find out from Roz what he thinks. But she is quite clearly trying to avoid telling him. And we see again the person speaking. We have the close up, followed by the panning out to see the person's reaction. This card says the brother. And of course, Frasier's brother Niles is played by David Hyde Pierce. So, originally, Frasier did not have a brother. And I forgot who it was, but somebody involved with creating the show happened to be on a Broadway show. I don't think it was current. I think that was later. Might have been Monty Python. I'm not sure which. One of the shows that David Hyde Pierce was in. He's done a lot of musicals. And they saw him. And I'll turn the camera on in a second. Hopefully this time it works. He looks very much like Kelsey Grammer. Like he could be his little brother. So here, we get ready to turn. We're trying not to touch anything this time and mess it up. So you see the two of them together there. They look very like perfect casting. And David Hyde Pierce is so talented, as is Kelsey, of course. Um, Niles has been taking care of or helping at any rate. I can't think of his name. Martin Crane, their father, played by wow, I don't like massive brain slips ever since I got disconnected here. So Martin Crane, their father, he's played by John Mahoney, who also passed away in 2018. Niles does not think he can live alone, but he does not want to take his father in. Martin Crane is very different than the two boys. He was a cop. He was shot in the head. That's why he's not working. And Niles, like his brother Frasier, they are both psychiatrists. They both think they're pretty much better than everyone. They're very highfalutin type guys. Martin's down to earth. He goes to Duke's, has a beer with his buddies. That kind of guy. He would fit in perfectly at Cheers. And ironically, John Mahoney actually appears in Cheers. He is the guy that wrote the jingles in one of the season 11 episodes. And they are currently eating, well, they're currently having coffee at their favorite place, the Cafe Neroso. And now we have the science as the father. So Frasier's in an apartment, which is at Gundo, and he's playing on his piano. But he's having some troubles. We see him moping as he walks to the door because he's not particularly thrilled that that Martin is moving in, but he's trying to fake it. Martin's about as happy as moving in with Frasier as Frasier's about him moving in. And we also see here that they're not exactly close. I'm not yawning because this is boring. I'm yawning because I'm very tired. So check out Frasier's apartment if you haven't seen this. Turn it again. That's pretty well decorated there. Huge, like I said. And the doorbell just rang. So here it is, an iconic piece of Frasier. It's the Martin Crane chair. Frasier's not happy about having this chair, even less happy than he is about having his dad. He just does not like this chair. He's upset because the chair, which is incredibly ugly, does not go with any of his furniture. So Niles is heading out. He's going to a dysfunctional family seminar. Seminar, sorry, mispronounced. Oh, and Eddie, um, okay, let me show you one of these cue cards quickly. Let's left them out. It says Eddie. Eddie is Martin's dog. Cute little thing. His real name is Moose. He's later played by Moose's son, Enos, or Enos, I pronounce it. Jack Russell Terrier, very adorable dog, and all he does is stare at Frasier. He stares at other people too, but Frasier's the big one because it sounds like the show's called Frasier. We see her, of course, the high-strung Frasier. Oh, Niles just mentioned Maris. Maris is Niles' unseen wife. Think there if you're a Cheers fan. Niles has just informed Frasier that he'll help pay for a home care worker to help with Martin. Their mom, Hester Crane, who of course was on an episode of Cheers that we watched not too long ago. She's now deceased in Frasier world. And Niles just said that mom used to say a handshake is just as good as a hug. So now they're interviewing people to help with Martin. They being Frasier and Martin. Oh, and here comes Daphne. Played Daphne Moon. She's played by. Okay, I went blank again. Wow, I know this cast. So I can't keep going blank here. Daphne Moon is played by. Oh yeah, Jane Leaves. Both Jane Leaves and Tim. Wow. John Mahoney. Jane Leaves and John Mahoney are both British. However, only in the show is Daphne British. Actually, John Mahoney forgot how to speak with an English accent. He was trained to not sound British and to sound more American when he plays roles. Um, he's been around. Like I said, he was in episode of Cheers. He was in the movie Moonstruck, 1987 with Cher. Great movie. But yeah, he was trained so well not to speak British that he actually does not know how to speak with a. He forgot how to speak with a British accent and had to relearn. I think he played a British person somewhere, but he had to relearn for something. But obviously, Jane Leeves definitely speaks with a British accent. And it's explained that her family's from London. Jane Leeves herself is actually from Ilford, Essex, England, in the United Kingdom. Daphne explains that she's a bit psychic. However, it comes and goes. She's a trip. Frasier's not too fond of her at this point. However, Martin hires her right on spot here. She said, I love America because he's got to leave. And her prompt Frasier just said, Quelle surprise. French for what a surprise. Daphne thought it was a full time position, but it's actually only part time. He just want to go for study because does his most profound thinking. Martin said, use the can like the rest of the world. They're arguing about the fact that Frasier doesn't really want him. It's an intense scene. Frasier wants Martin to just say thank you, and you see the reactions going back and forth, and he just can't do it. And finally, he tells Eddie, come on, it's dinner time. Next one here says Lupe Velez. Frasier's back on the station running to get there. He said the bathroom needs to be moved closer to the studio. Roz is telling him about Lupe, the name I said earlier, Velez. And if I remember correctly, because I actually looked this woman up, and I believe this is actually a true story. If I remember correctly. Let's see if I can look it up again while we're watching it. Y'all can just listen to Roz while I look this up. Lupe, Lupe. Lupe was. So yes, no time for this to freeze. Okay, Lupe Velez was a Mexican actress, 1908 to 1944. She starred in vaudeville, silent films. I can't wait until I can get a new phone. Things always getting stuck. She died at age 36 in December of 1944 from an intentional overdose of the barbiturate drug Seconal. Her death and circumstances surrounding it were the subject of speculation and controversy. So that's the whole thing she was talking about. Martin Crane has now called Frasier's radio station. Oh, this is good. He says thank you on the radio, and he's like, "Did you hear what I said? I said thank you." So, another cool thing about this show is they have a lot of famous celebrities that actually do the call ins. Who tells who. It actually became like people wanted to be a guest star on the show as one of the call ins because of how popular the show became. And the show was on for 11 seasons, just like Cheers. Oh, I gotta mute the theme song. Tossed salad and scrambled eggs, such a great theme song. So I'm actually looking quickly here to see if I can see who. There we go. Griffin Dunne and Linda Hamilton provide the voices for the first two guest callers of the series. Griffin Dunne voices Russell, a college struggling with depression, while Linda Hamilton voices Claire, that was the last call we heard, who seeks advice regarding a breakup. Both performers later appear on camera as different characters, with Griffin Dunne playing the title character Bob in The Friend 1996, and Linda Hamilton portraying Laura in Odd Man Out. And there's our show. Tomorrow, I think it's at 6 p.m. We will be watching the Frasier reboot pilot episode. I have to do a pre-op physical during the day, so it's going to be later in the evening. And don't forget tonight, 9 o'clock will be the release of the next Cheers rewatch, which is King of the Hill, season 3, episode 15 of Cheers, and that's One Woman's Opinion.